Nobody expected the Cleveland Browns to hit the ground this fast. In a training camp that was supposed to ease players in, Cleveland lit the fuse instead. It wasn't just about football today. It was about pressure, it was about plans, and it was about a quarterback room that's quietly becoming the Browns' biggest gamble of the year. While fans were still buzzing about the alternate helmet reveal, the front office had already moved to center stage. They've built a roster with 4 quarterbacks and only one job to give. That's not competition. That's a countdown. On paper, Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett are leading the race, but in the background, something's brewing. 2 rookies, Shadur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel, came to camp with more to prove and less time to prove it. And yet, it's not just the quarterback battle that's getting wild. There's been a shift on offense. Nick Chubb has gone to Houston, and with Quinshon Judkins still missing from camp, the Browns' backfield is already under pressure. Their receivers? Still unproven. That's why every rep, every handoff, and every drill is carrying extra weight. This offense is being forced to take shape faster than anyone expected. And behind the scenes, the Browns are operating with a quiet urgency, like they're preparing for a shift the rest of the league hasn't seen coming. But that's just the surface. What nobody's talking about is how this new-look offense might already be carrying hidden cracks. From shuffled mechanics to missing playmakers, Cleveland's attack is being held together by potential. And potential doesn't win games. The pressure isn't waiting for week 1, it's here now. And if this offense doesn't hold, the weight falls back on the quarterbacks. That's where we're heading next. Because while the front office plays the long game, Shadur Sanders just made the short game way more interesting. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Browns and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 500 likes on this video. The Browns are counting on an offense that hasn't even settled its foundation yet. Quinshon Judkins, their expected breakout rookie running back, is still missing due to legal complications. That alone leaves a massive question mark hanging over the backfield. And now, the weight falls on Jerome Ford, Dylan Sampson, and Pierre Strong to deliver early chemistry with a quarterback room that's still being shuffled daily. What makes this even riskier is Kevin Stefanski's tendency to lean into the passing game too soon. Without a stable ground attack, the Browns may be setting up their young quarterbacks to carry more than they should. Watch closely, and you'll notice Shadur Sanders doing something subtle but important. He's already showing clean mechanics in handoffs and play-action movement. His coordination with Ford and Sampson isn't flashy, but it's sharp. The way he tucks his off-arm, the way he masks the handoff, those are veteran habits, not things you expect from a rookie fresh out of Colorado. And while the fans are debating who should start, the staff is watching for the smallest signs of readiness. Shadur is giving them something to notice without saying a word. That's the kind of trust you build in the background. But there's another twist. This offense doesn't just have a running back issue, it has a target problem. With David Njoku excused and no true slot receiver locked in, rookie tight end Harold Fannon Jr. suddenly finds himself in a real opportunity window. And he's making the most of it. Working well with both Gabriel and Sanders, Fannon is flashing across the middle while the veteran receivers sort themselves out. The Browns have built their identity on control and structure, but with so many new moving parts and rookies stepping up early, that structure might start shifting faster than anyone planned. Which leads us right back to the one player holding it together when things break down: Shadur. That brings us to the moment everyone's been waiting for, the first real look at what he did on the field. It didn't take long for things to get real. During the Browns' first team drills, Shadur Sanders was thrown into the fire. His opening throw was low to rookie wideout Luke Floria. Another across the middle to Cade McDonald nearly got broken up and almost got McDonald lit up in the process. From the outside, it might have looked like a shaky start. But inside those reps, coaches were watching something different. When the pocket collapsed, Shadur didn't panic. He reset, he adjusted, and most importantly, he kept throwing. He wasn't the only one under the microscope. Dillon Gabriel, another rookie, had a similar learning curve. While Gabriel struggled against the speed of the defense, Sanders stayed focused on his footwork and short area timing. He delivered a smooth out route to Cade McDonald, hit the running back Amani Marshall on a quick flip, and even threw a sideline dart that was placed where only his guy could reach it. These weren't highlight reel throws. They were proof of polish. And for a rookie, that matters more than a single stat line ever could. The Browns didn't need Sanders to dominate day one, they needed him to look composed. And that's exactly what he gave them. But behind all of it, a problem was brewing. The second-team offensive line was getting blown up. Pressure came fast, protection broke down, and backup linemen looked overwhelmed. That made Sanders' performance even more impressive. Twice he had defenders in his face, and both times he delivered without forcing a mistake. While some fans locked onto his 3-for-8 stat line, the coaching staff saw something else. Presence. Timing. Survival under chaos. That's what separates camp bodies from future starters. And now, with one day of tape behind him, Sanders has put the heat right back on the depth chart. Which brings us to the next critical piece of this puzzle, the truth about the so-called open competition. The Browns say it's an open quarterback competition, but if you've watched how reps are being distributed, you already know better. Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett are getting the early calls, the first looks, and the most snaps with top-tier personnel. That's not random, it's by design. This staff isn't playing four-dimensional chess. They're simply prioritizing experience. But here's where it gets complicated. Every time Shadur Sanders steps in, even with the third or fourth group, the offense looks cleaner. And that's not supposed to happen when you're this far down the depth chart. Dillon Gabriel, also a rookie, has had flashes too. But unlike Sanders, he's already seen limited time with the higher units during spring work. Sanders? He's been grinding from the bottom. Not a single documented rep with the first team yet. And while that might sound like a setback, it's also what makes his calm under pressure more valuable. He hasn't been handed anything. He's earning it the hard way. But if this really was a fair fight, we would have seen at least a glimpse of Shadur behind the starting line by now. And the fact that we haven't? That's not coincidence. That's strategy. What's building now is tension. Because each clean throw from Sanders, each smart checkdown, each sideline read, stacks pressure on the coaching staff to explain why he isn't moving up. Eventually, the media will start asking. The fans already are. And unless something changes soon, this competition might turn into a controversy. The Browns can only keep 4 quarterbacks for so long. And that decision isn't just about talent. It's about business, branding, and risk. When you carry 4 quarterbacks into training camp, you're already walking a tightrope. The Browns know it, Andrew Berry knows it, and the entire league is watching how they handle it. You don't bring in 2 rookies like Shadur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel, then stack them behind 2 veterans unless you're planning something deliberate. One of these quarterbacks won't make it past final cuts. The question is, do you risk cutting a name that could turn into a star, or do you gamble on veterans who've already shown their ceiling? Joe Flacco is the safe pick. He knows the offense, he's done it before. Kenny Pickett, while inconsistent in Pittsburgh, cost the Browns draft capital. That alone gives him leverage. But Shadur Sanders brings something neither of them can offer. His presence is a magnet. His brand, built under the brightest lights in college football, is already bringing national attention to Cleveland's camp. That kind of spotlight has value beyond stats. It sells tickets. It drives conversation. And the front office knows that cutting a player like Sanders doesn't just cost you potential, it invites backlash. The only path out of this jam is either a trade or a gamble. Maybe someone offers a late-round pick for a veteran. Maybe you stash a rookie on the practice squad and pray another team doesn't grab him. But with Shadur, that's a risk the Browns can't afford to take. His upside is too real, and his development is already ahead of schedule. So now, the coaching staff finds itself in a corner. They can't keep 4 quarterbacks forever, and the next set of decisions will tell us everything about what they really believe. Which makes the timing of the joint practices even more critical, because that's where the future of this quarterback room will be decided. The Browns know training camp stats don't win jobs, joint practices do. With the Panthers and Eagles coming in, these high-intensity sessions will serve as the true test, revealing who's ready when things get real. Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett are set to take first-team reps, but if Shadur Sanders or Dillon Gabriel shines with the backups, it could flip the narrative. These aren't just reps, they're auditions under pressure, where draft status no longer matters. The Browns won't say it out loud, but decisions are already taking shape. For Shadur, one perfect rep in front of another team's sideline could be the spark that changes everything. So now the question is simple. Will the Browns give him that chance? Will we see Shadur Sanders line up with the starters during joint practices or preseason matchups? Or will the front office stick to the script, even if the rookie outperforms expectations? Let us know what you think. Should Shadur be getting more top-tier reps right now? Could Gabriel surprise everyone and leap forward? Drop your take in the comments. And if you're following this quarterback battle as closely as we are, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. This story is far from over, and trust me, You're going to want to see what happens next.